Without further ado, everyone, how about a big round of applause for Nana Visitor?
How are you doing? I wanted to make sure to do this because we moved it to Gates McFadden's. We appeared together this morning, and so that, yeah, it was fun. Did you see it? It was fun. But I wanted to make sure not to leave you guys out, so I'm back. Hi, how are you doing?
I'm great, and this is exciting for me. And by the way, you guys, Nana has to catch a flight. So this panel is cut a little short, but it's going to be about 20 minutes, and then you're going to be back at your booth, so you'll have a chance to say hi at her booth as well.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, awesome. So if you have any questions, now's the time. This is it. You can line up right behind the microphone. And here you go. Hi, sir. You're first, Hello, what's your name?
I'm Danny, and I'd like, first of all, to thank you very much for coming here.
Thank you, Dan.
And I know it's
Appreciate
a long flight away. I got a question. Do you watch the movies as well as the TV series?
I do.
Do you like the movies, the newer movies also?
I like the first one a lot. I felt like, here's my thing. I love what Star Trek does, and I love what Star Wars is and all the different action films, but I feel like Star Trek's strength is not as a complete action film. So I felt like they're trying to please everybody, and it didn't please me that much.
More intellectual, probably. Thank you very much.
Okay. Hello.
Hi. I was wondering what you think Major Kira would be doing in her life at this point.
Well, do you play Star Trek Online?
I do.
Yeah, I just did that, and I kind of agree with them.
Okay.
It kind of gives it away, so I won't say it in case any of you people want to get online and play the game. But she, at the time the game starts, is a Kai, so that kind of is her spiritual part. But I'm glad that she doesn't abandon the warrior completely. And that's what I feel. I feel like she would still be commanding. So I'm glad she kind of comes out of the spiritual wardrobe just a little bit.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's what I think would happen. You bet. Hello.
Hi. Oh, sorry. Hi, how are you?
Really good.
Good. So at Florida City, at the Paradise City Comic-Con, I met Wilson Cruz. He plays Dr. Hugh Culber in the current Star Trek Discovery. What do you think of his work and Lieutenant Stamets, like their relationship and the Star Trek series in general, like opening up to the LGBT community and having like being a first for like the to have the LGBT couple in like a space series?
I think it's what Star Trek does best, is have us at a distance get acclimatized to certain things. I'll never forget being in ops, and this is mechanical, but still, being in ops and calling down, I think it was Dr. Bashir, calling down to Dr. Bashir and going, I actually had the thought, my God, wouldn't it be unbelievable if we had these little things that we could just get to people that we needed to get? And now I have an iPhone 10, and I swear to God, it's it's a way of getting used to ideas. Of course, it's not a new idea, but the minute it's in Star Trek world, it becomes an idea we're all living with. And I do a lot of appearances for Gays in Space, the fact that those guys felt so included in Star Trek, finally. They felt like outsiders in something that they loved, and now they felt, oh my God, I've got representation. I think it's a great thing.
Yep, Star Trek does what it does best. Thank you.
Exactly.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Hey.
Bonus, get to see you twice today.
I love that.
Question for you, not on a Star Trek related question, but sort of. So you go to all these conventions, and you stay at the same hotels that a lot of fandom people are at. And So when you're walking through, like for breakfast in the lobby, are you constantly being bombarded because you're so famous and everybody knows who you are? And how much does that infringe upon your private time?
No, you know, you guys.
Oh, we're crazy.
You are. You know, you're great. You're really actually great. And I remember even back in the day when it was, you know, we were filming the show and we were so unavailable because we were constantly filming. To have a sighting of one of the characters was really unusual. What would happen is that someone would tell my husband or the person I was with, please tell her how much I enjoy her on the show. And that was it. If we were out at a restaurant or something, they wouldn't even approach me. And I've never, ever had an issue with that, anywhere I've stayed or anything like that. And I'm certainly, and I think part of that is I don't make myself unavailable. Like I did the cruise. I'm out there. I'm doing all the stuff with everybody, and so they get sick of me. And it's like, oh, it's her again, whatever, you know. Which is part of it. If you make yourself all mysterious and close yourself off, then I guess it's interesting. Oh my God, I had an Nana sighting, but everyone's so sick of me because I'm just out. It's like, hey, how you doing?
We are not sick of you.
Thank you
Not
so
at
much.
all.
Well, thank you for all your work. My wife is sick of me for watching Deep Space Nine continually on Netflix. It's my favorite of all of them.
Well, I thank you for putting up with him. Thanks, and all of us. Hey.
Hello, my name is Austin. First
Hi,
off,
Austin.
I'd say DS9 is actually my favorite too. And when you're doing auditions, I know you have to do research on like the roles and how Star Trek is. I'm wondering how that your mindset was kind of changed, because DS9 is more based on you're in one place, discoveries are coming to you, you're not looking for it. So when you do auditions, how do your mindset change with that?
My mindset didn't have to change. I just had to find it, and it was all about my character. And then you know what your character thinks and where they come from. And for her, she basically had post-traumatic stress, which we know so much more about now than we did then. And that was the most important key to her, so that everyone is a potential threat to her. And that's what she sees first, is a threat to her people, to herself, to her way of life. And that was my way in. And then from there, you just meet the needs of the situation, and it all flows really. I'm someone who, when I act, I unlock my conscious brain, and I let my subconscious, once I've told it what's going on, I just let it go. So, because that's the fun. That's a flow state, and that's the fun of acting. That's the fun of what we do.
And because you also deal with the Kardashians and the Federation, Kardashians again.
Never had to deal with the Kardashians, thank God.
Kardashians.
But the Kardashians, yeah, the other ones.
My dad makes a joke about that. He's like, oh, let's keep out the Kardashians. It's okay. But, and also, plus of the Dominion, so.
Right,
it's
right.
Insane.
Yeah, it was, but you know, it's not that hard to understand where she came from, and she was, you know, her people were enslaved. So you go from there.
Thank you.
You bet. Hey.
Hi.
Good to see you again.
Thanks. Thank you for making history with Gates McFadden and coming to Miami. And thank you for the dance. It was wonderful.
Oh, I'm so glad you enjoyed it. It was fun. It was a crazy thing to do, right? It's like...
It was, yeah. It really
both
was something else.
what we both love to do.
I was holding it in and trying not to scream and clap while you're tapping. But I just wanted to hear a little bit more, if you could, about how you grew up in the theater as a dancer, and if you could say something. You mentioned Bob Fosse. I mean, any kind of story that you could say about your parents being dancers, and I'd like to hear a little.
We'd all have to go out for drinks, and because I've got so many stories about that. But a truncated version is, my grandmother always wanted to dance, and she was in Paris, and she was married, and you weren't supposed to be married and go to the opera, the Paris Opera, to learn to dance. It was too late for her. She went anyway, and she lied, and she got accepted. And not only was she married at the time, she had 11 children. She had 11 children by the time she was 35. So she taught them all to dance, and they became headliners in vaudeville and traveled the world dancing. When they landed in America, a lot of them became teachers. My mother, one of them, Nanette Charisse. My uncle Nico married one of his young dancers, and she was Sid Charisse. And so we have this dynasty of incredible dancers. My father was a choreographer on Broadway, and he worked with Jerry Robbins for a long time, Bob Fosse. I myself had a 5-hour audition with Bob Fosse for the movie All That Jazz. I didn't get it, obviously, but I was a real child. I think I was 17 or 18 at the time. And I'll never forget walking into one of those, you know, dance studios are always horrible places. You're going up these rough staircases in New York. They don't really exist anymore, but everyone was smoking cigarettes and sitting on the dirty floors. But magic happened in these places. And I can see it in my mind's eye. I walked into the studio to work with Bob, who had worked with my father for 25 years, so I knew him, but this was the first time I was dancing for him. And he was up against, and it was so iconic, he was up against the window, and he was smoking, and he was, I mean, people have done photos and pieces of art with him like this, smoking a cigarette, just like that. And then he turned and we danced together, we did readings together, we talked together, danced more. It was 5 hours. And at the end of it, he took my face and he said, "You're not right for this, but you're gonna make it. Just don't ever, ever do drugs." And Bob Fosse, who was one of my heroes at the time, saying that, no one can believe it now, being in show business, and at the time, it was the 70s. I never, ever did anything. I never took anything at any part, nothing. And I'm really grateful to him because it was such an important thing to say. And he was an icon of mine. So, yeah.
Wow, thank you.
You bet.
Wow. I think we just have time for one more, but go ahead.
Just make it really quick. I know you're doing the documentary What We Left Behind with Star Trek Deep Space Nine, the 25th anniversary. How was it emotionally going through it, reliving what, in my opinion, is the best Star Trek?
It was a blast. Thank you, guys. Thank you. That's so nice to hear. I loved the show passionately. It was really hard to say goodbye to it. It was, you know, I felt like I left my heart behind. And incredible years of my life. It was a blast because anytime I get to be with that cast, we're a tribe. I mean, it's beyond family. We're a tribe, and it was fantastic every time. I'm actually doing a little thing with Ira on Friday in LA for it. So, and it's for the, I think it's for the last bit of the, they finished it. I'm pretty sure it's finished. So we're going to be seeing it soon, and I can't wait either. I've heard it's really good.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're so welcome.
Could maybe squeeze in a quick one.
Let's do a quick one.
Okay.
Real quick one. Some of my favorite episodes from Deep Space Nine are the Parallel Mirror Universe episodes. What was it like going from playing stoic Kira to like wild and carefree Kira?
It was a blast, but it wasn't carefree. She was so evil, and yet she had, I think what made it interesting for me, she had no judgment of herself. She actually thought that what she was doing was right, and everybody else was wrong and stupid, like a sociopath feels. So it was fascinating to play, and I'd love to play more mental offnesses like that. It was fascinating to play that and fun. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. Okay. Oh, they're just two. Can't we do it really quick? Just really quick.
Real
Come on.
quick.
Speed.
Rapid fire. Favorite color?
So he took the question kind of right under me. I was going to ask something similar.
All right,
but
good.
Another one I was kind of thinking was being Kira, she was such a strong and powerful woman in the 90s kind of like era.
Mm-hmm.
How did you feel being her for like 9 consecutive seasons? How did that change you personally?
Well, you know what? You said 9. It was actually 7, but
Oh,
it
wait,
does
I'm
feel
sorry.
like 25 that I've taken Kira with me because I never really leave her. And playing the character changed me in big ways. So it's a character that I used as character development on my own. I found some strengths because of her. And I keep them to this day. So that was actually a really good question. She is still with me. Yes.
So I think Kira may be one of the characters that goes through the most character growth through the series in a show of a lot of characters that go through a lot of character growth. What do you think is the most important bit of character growth she went through in the series?
She recovered. She recovered from post-traumatic stress. I know a lot of people say post-traumatic stress disorder. I heard a Navy SEAL say, I don't say disorder because when you experience what we experience, it's a natural thing to have a problem with it. And that makes so much sense to me, so I just dropped the disorder part. I think I think that was the most important recovery that she had. And she had it because she was in a place where she could trust these people and trust their Federation goodness. If she had been on Bajor, I doubt she would have recovered like that. So, yet another, they were all good questions. You've been a delight, and I've loved being here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And if you would like to gather around the stage, we're going to take one quick photo. And like I said, you can visit Nana Visitor at her booth. How about one big round of applause for Nana Visitor?